Well, my name is Daryl. Kwawu. First up this afternoon, President Akufo-Addo has charged the newly launched Development Bank Ghana to form strong ties with players in the private sector to work towards reviving the economy. Speaking at a ceremony to announce the official takeoff of the bank, President Akufo-Addo described the Development Bank as a critical initiative in transforming the economy.
Development Bank Ghana should be the bedrock for our renewed commitment to private sector development. It is expected to work to transform our SMEs into well-functioning, formal and strong corporates with the potential to increase our GDP, employ more people, and enhance our tax efforts. The bank must be partners with the private sector, the Association of Ghana Industries, the Private Enterprises Foundation, the Employers Association, the Pharmaceutical Industry Association of Ghana, the Federation of Association of Ghanaian Exporters, the Ghana Securities Industry Association, and the Ghana Association of Bankers. The bank must work with them to provide access to long-term funds, access to markets, both domestic and foreign, and skills developments. Today, we have made considerable progress with creating an enabling ecosystem that should make the private sector stronger than it has been in the past. Development Bank Ghana will support all banks in the economy to have access to long-term funds, including the National Investment Bank and the Agricultural Development Bank and the Ghana Exim Bank. It will also support private equity funds and other capital market firms to have access to our bond market and facilitate equity financing for SMEs. Additionally, it will partner research institutions to undertake sector research, support innovation centers and business accelerators. It will ensure that the requisite capital is directed towards business ideas with the most potential for growth and job creation under the financial services ecosystem. With its strong balance sheet, independence, and vision, we expect that the bank will tap into the international capital market, develop the domestic debt market, and design products to attract diaspora funds into crucial sectors of the economy. And I have no doubt that the bank will work strictly within the guidelines and regulations of the Bank of Ghana.
And that was President Akufo-Addo speaking at a ceremony this morning. Meanwhile, the bank has received more than $700 million from shareholders and partners as seed capital to on-lend to commercial banks to support growth of small and medium enterprises. Here's Chief Executive Kwamna Duka.
G today has a capital structure of nearly $800 million. To date, this funding has given us funds in excess of $700 million for on-lending through our PFIs to our SMEs. And in terms of our equity structure, we have about $200 and $250 million, roughly about 1.2 billion cedis in capital. We are humbled by the support we have received so far and indeed continue to receive from these institutions and the government of Ghana. A commitment to make an impact by doing it differently and doing it properly.
On Zoom with us this afternoon, Dr. Daniel Amate-Nim, who is Executive Director of Policy Initiative for Economic Development. Great to have you on the program. How crucial is this bank in reviving the economy as the President expects?
Yes, thank you very much. It depends. In principle, development banks are supposed to mobilize excess liquidity for onward lending to businesses so that businesses can expand their production capacity and create the necessary jobs and also help beef up government domestic revenue mobilization. So in principle, it's a very good vehicle in stimulating economic growth because the focus will not be on commercial banking, but it's going to focus on critical firms or critical companies within the domestic economy and support them financially, not only with financial support, but also to support them with a technical support. We expect a vibrant development bank to have a department, a very strong research department with a technical know-how to be able to understand the dynamics within the domestic market and support businesses. On that score, having a development bank is good for the future of our economy. But the issue or the caution is that political interference should be taken out of the equation. Political interference, especially from the highest officers, from the presidency. We have seen over the period where we have established specific banks to address specific needs within the domestic economy. But along the journey, we have realized that they couldn't live up to expectation because of political interference. We asking that this time around, they will allow the development bank to work as an institution. They will allow the professionals that are supposed to manage or to man these institutions to be able to do their work professionally. If that is done, I'm of the view that coming on board will be able to support businesses and help stimulate overall economic growth.
And already we are told the bank has received more than $700 million from shareholders and partners as seed capital to on-lend to commercial banks to support the growth of SMEs. Is that a good place to focus for a start, and where else should the bank's focus be?
I think it is a step in the right direction. Equally so, they should also exploit further, go into other markets where there are excess liquidity at a very competitive rate to be able to beef up their seed capital. And they should be, for now, the SME sector is very key and critical in stimulating economic growth and creating jobs. So they should be able to identify SMEs that are doing well. First, they should start with SMEs that are doing well and support them financially and technically. And they should also look at emerging SMEs that are coming, and they should be able to support them. Now, as a bank, they should be able to identify individuals, more importantly, political actors that will take advantage and quickly establish businesses with a view of taking money from the development bank for their political reasons. They should be able to identify certain and block that loopholes. If that is done, then I'm of the view that within the medium to long-term perspective, we should expect growth within the SME sector, and we should expect a certain degree or a certain level of job creation, and equally so, revenue generation as far as the government to domestic revenue mobilization is concerned.
All right. And the governor of the central bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, at the launch today said the Bank of Ghana will hold the development bank to same rules as the commercial banks. What measures should be put in place to ensure the bank achieves its mandate? Plus, there have been concerns, banks like ADB and IB, which started off as development banks, losing their orientation along the way. You talk about political interference. How do we avoid that?
Yeah, that's all. First, we must ensure that we allow the systems and the structures to work. In Ghana, on we have done so much in terms of, I've seen it over and over again, where the political, system outweighs what is supposed to be on the ground. I trust that BOG will do as expected, and they will not allow political actors to take advantage. More importantly, now that we will very soon be, nearing an election area, they should avoid the temptation of, allowing political actors to direct their attention, by giving loans to political faithfuls with a view of supporting political parties. So to me, it was down on the people managing the thing. They should be able to step their feet on the ground and ensure that professionalism dictates the pace of the day. And to me, that's the only way that we could curtail political interference.
Right. Thank you very much, Executive Director of Policy Initiative for Economic Development, Dr. Daniel Amartey-Anim. I appreciate your thoughts this afternoon. Panel members at the Graphic Business Stanbic Bank Breakfast Meeting have called for a redirection of government's investment into real sectors of the economy, such as agric and manufacturing. This, they are said, will help create the jobs needed to reduce the country's unemployment rate. Data from the Ghana Statistical Service shows that Ghana's unemployment rate stands at 13.9%. Now, speaking at the breakfast meeting, economist and lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie, stressed the need to focus on sectors that can employ large portions of the population.
Now, how can you sustain your program for 10 years, 15 years, when it is import dependent? What was the strategy to produce fertilizer locally? I was in China. I was invited for a conference and we're studying their models. One of the things I learned in China was that their first economic model was that no Chinese should go hungry. No Chinese.
Okay.
No Ghanaian should, I'm coming, I'll answer your question. No Ghanaian should go hungry. That should be the position. I am not saying that the Planning for Food and Jobs program has not made any gains. I'm saying that it is not enough. It depends on the numbers outside. You look at nominal figures and I'll tell you that I'm looking at the percentage, the ratios. Because if there are about 1 million people unemployed and you create 100,000, 100,000 is a number, but it's just 10%. So how many were unemployed before the program, and after the program, how many are employed and how many are still left behind? That is why I said earlier that the growth of employment must keep pace with the growth of GDP. So in this case, you have created 700,000, but how many are still left? I'm always interested in the ratio or the percentages. So the agric must be emphasized, and I'll keep emphasizing it, that we shouldn't joke with it. And I think that is why Ivory Coast is doing better than us. I have started getting some figures from Ivory Coast that they have taken agric seriously. Our first point of contact, let's learn from the Chinese, is agric. Nobody should go hungry in Ghana.
Well, meanwhile, President of the Private Enterprises Federation, Nana Osei-Bonsu, has warned that the constant neglect of the informal economy is the major challenge when it comes to employment creation in Ghana.
Between public sector, which is 6.2 of the employment pool in Ghana, you have private sector formal, 6.8 of GDP. The informal sector is 86%. So if you're doing any analysis to create jobs, where are you going to look at? The informal sector. Encourage them, provide the resources, provide the competencies and capacities so they can create jobs. Nobody sets up a business to create jobs. They set up a business to make money. And by making money, they need more hands, they expand, the economy will grow, and more people will be employed. So if you go by that philosophy, you design a policy that will allow this to happen. Encouragement by building the competencies and capacities of the human capital. No business is running automation with no human being organizing it. So that kind of monitoring to endow ourselves with the technical competencies and capacities to enable businesses to do the business, to enable businesses to create the jobs, is what we need to do. But who makes that decision? John Q. government. Do we know what capacities the government looks at before they do the policy? Let me take an old investment policy of Ghana. They say in Ghana, bring your business, come and do business as you want, make money and repatriate everything out. What happens to the locals? If we are going to export all the monies, repatriate all the profit margins, what doesn't happen?
Well, moving on to another story we are following keenly for you. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies continue to slide today as investors bailed out of risky assets in anticipation of sharp rises in interest rates in the U.S. to tackle inflation. Now, nerves remain raw after two of the world's biggest cryptocurrency platforms restricted activity on Monday as the wider market meltdown continued apace. Let's show you what we are monitoring. Bitcoin, the world's most valuable cryptocurrency, fell about 8% today, dropping below $23,000. It lost about 25% of its value since Friday, putting it about 67% below its all-time high in November last year when it traded around 69,000, according to data from Coinbase. Ether, the second most valuable digital coin, dropped 4%, taking its losses since Friday to about 32%. It has now lost about 75% of its value since November. Binance, the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange, suspended withdrawals on its Bitcoin network for a few hours on Monday. The company said some transactions had gotten stuck and were causing a backlog. Now, so-called stable coins, cryptocurrencies that were tied to the value of more traditional assets, have also taken a hit. Tether, a popular stablecoin, broke its peg to the US dollar in May, puncturing the view that it could serve as a hedge against volatility. Well, let's discuss this. Emmanuel Edu is a crypto and blockchain analyst, also founder of Ghana Block. What is happening, Emmanuel? Why the meltdown?
Hi, thank you, Darren, for having me. First of all, fundamentally, there's now crazy global uncertainty in the market, and also due to the war in Russia, the war between Russia and Ukraine, it has increased the market uncertainty, not only for crypto but also for the stock market. And so that's fundamentally the cause of this, or the cause for this sudden crash. But what really triggered the effects? What really triggered this instant or sudden crash of this crypto market is due to the fact that there's a company, a very huge blockchain company called the Terra Foundation. It's one of the biggest blockchain with very huge ecosystem. They have a USDT, or a stable coin, as you rightly mentioned. And this stable coin is unlike this regular stable coin that we all know. We have a USDT, or US Tether. We also have a USDC, which is also a stable coin. And this Terra Foundation, they have their own stable coin, which is called the UST. And with stable coin, they are backed by some amount of liquidity. So for USDT is backed by the real US dollar. So if you have 100 million UST or USDT in circulation, you should have 100 million US dollars liquidity backing it. That keeps it on the dollar to dollar peg, all right? So what really happened with the Terra Foundation was that they rather operate what we call the algorithmic stable coin, which means it's not really pegged with the US dollar, right? It's rather pegged with various crypto assets like Bitcoin. They have their own traditional coin called the Luna, and other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum. So what really happened was that in May, there's a lot of conspiracy theory. We don't want to get into that. A certain group or certain company began to down this company's most valuable cryptocurrency called the Luna. That also helps or makes sure that this USD keeps in peg with the dollar. What happened? They really dumped huge billions of dollars of this Luna cryptocurrency, and it triggered a sell-off, a massive sell-off, and a lot of people began to just cash out from the Luna. And since,
I'm just wondering, because we don't have so much time, what does this mean for people who have investments in the crypto market? I'm thinking of Ghanaians who have invested in cryptocurrencies. What's the talking time?
All right, so I would say that we've been in this cycle before. I cannot share the charts to you because of time, but we've been through this before. And cryptocurrency is highly volatile market, so I would say that you do your own research well. You try to manage your risk, and if you are already in crypto, if you already have some asset, make sure that you liquidate some certain amounts and hold it in a more stable coin like USDT, or if you can, just cash out from the market and keep some and hold on. For the market to get to the bottom, the market certainly will get to a bottom, then it will begin to find its original floor price, then look upwards. So it's just general fearful market sentiment, which will certainly die off. We've been through this before in 2018 and 20, and then this too shall pass.
This too shall pass. You're giving hope to investors who have lost over, $2 trillion in 8 months. Now, like you point out, we have seen this happen before, then the market rebounds. But the question is, how soon would the market rebound? And doesn't this give as reason to not want to adopt this here in Ghana, looking at the volatility, the sort of risk involved? Isn't it reason there is skepticism about the adoption of cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, first of all, I would want to say that if you want to get into crypto, treat it as an investment. So you shouldn't just get in because you want to make quick gambling money, all right? Just get in with some level of financial knowledge. Just have some basic financial knowledge about investments and all that. So what I would say is that for those who have lost, it's just we have something called the dollar cost averaging. Make sure that you don't sell or you are lost anyway. Make sure that at least if you have some certain fund, make sure that you keep your cost or you keep what you've been buying very low. Buy from the bottom, and when the market suddenly recovers, you make sure you see that all that you've lost, you've recovered and even made much more. And with respect to whether people would be uncertain and that they wouldn't want to invest in crypto, I would say that we should rather try to understand what really powers this cryptocurrency, the blockchain, all right? What a lot of people get into crypto without understanding the whole Web3 thing. And I think if you want to get into crypto, make sure that you understand the power, the blockchain or the technology you are getting yourself into, the projects you are getting yourself into. That will help you make an informed decision, and that will also help you avoid what we call avoid a lot of coins that really do not have any utility back in it. So that's what I would want to tell viewers. You really need to do your own research well and have some set of or basic financial knowledge about investment in general.
I don't think I have the heart for this. I mean, things like this would just get my BP rising. But I want to find out from you if you have made losses yourself personally. How are you handling it?
I've made losses, and if I tell you how much I've lost, you scream. But I don't want to disclose. But what I would say is we've been through this before in 2018. And Bitcoin is still high, all right? 2 years ago, the price of Bitcoin was just around 10,000 or so. And now it's 20,000, still high. And it's really finding its bottom in 20,000. And I'm really certain that the price of Bitcoin will very soon get to around 200,000. I bought Bitcoin when the price was around $720, and I never thought Bitcoin can even get to $1,000. And now look at the price now. So there is hope. We should rather focus on the blockchain technology and make sure that you build knowledge on any project you spend any dime on. You shouldn't just go throw money into any crypto. You should try to find like Ethereum, BNB. They all have some huge ecosystem and projects that really powers their crypto, their coin. You should look into that, and I'm sure you will lower your risk of losing. And one more thing in crypto, if you don't sell, you've not lost unless you are trading futures or leveraging. If I bought, let's say gold, gold that was $500, and the price of gold falls by half, which is $250, and if I don't sell, I still have my gold. So I would say that if you still have your assets, make sure that
we have to go manual.
Yeah, if you can, make sure that you have the knowledge. All right, so that's what I have to say.
All right, you are handling your losses pretty well. I wish you all the best. Hope you recover your money's lost. Thank you, Emmanuel Edu, cryptocurrency analyst there. Now, prices of petroleum products are expected to witness one of the biggest jumps from this Thursday. This is based on data that Joy Business has secured from bulk oil distribution companies. Here's George Jaffe with more.
The expected increase is not based on our projections, but rather what the bulk oil distribution firms are expected to sell to the oil marketing companies from the 15th of June 2022. That is from this Wednesday. Now, based on the price list that these bulk oil distribution companies are willing to sell to the retail firms in the country, a litre of diesel is expected to be increased by 11.14% per litre, while petrol will be up by almost 13%. Petrol is currently sold on the market at around 10 Ghana cedis, 10 pesos per litre, while diesel, on the other hand, is going for 12 Ghana cedis, 20 pesos. Well, even though crude prices have been fairly stable on the international market, the cost of refining these products are going up on the international market. But judging from what happened over the last 2 weeks, where some oil marketing companies had to renegotiate with the bulk oil distributors to reduce their prices, maybe we may not witness the expected increase at the pumps by this weekend. But we should not forget about the impact of this development on the cost of living in the coming weeks, and how this could also force the commercial transport operators to increase fares if nothing is done in the last minute to cushion consumers or maybe stay prices.
And you know what that does to inflation when fuel prices go up. That's it for the marketplace. My name is Daryl Kwawu. There is more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Read more about the DBG Development Bank Ghana on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Thanks for watching. We'll see you same time tomorrow.